Cognitive behavioral therapy and spiritual work are not opposites. In fact, they're pointing at the same mechanism from different directions, both working with the premise that what you consistently think and believe shapes what you experience. CBT says, identify the distorted thought, examine the evidence, replace it with something more accurate. Spiritual work says, observe the pattern, release what isn't serving, realign with truth. Same process, different language. Today we're going to practice a few core CBT tools adapted for the spiritually aware, people who understand energy and pattern and the body's role in all of it. So make yourself comfortable, have something to write with nearby. This is an interactive meditation. Once you're ready, take 3 slow, deep breaths and let the mind begin to slow. Not empty, but slow down. CBT doesn't ask you to stop thinking. It asks you to think more accurately. Now I want you to bring to mind a thought pattern that shows up regularly and causes you distress. Not necessarily the most intense one. Let's go with a medium one. Something that you think often enough to notice. What is that thought? And state it simply. For example, I am not enough. Things never work out for me. I always do this wrong. Whatever the pattern is for you. Now, the first CBT tool is examine the evidence. Not the feeling, but the actual evidence. If this thought were a claim in a court of law, what evidence would support it? And what evidence contradicts it? Most distorted thoughts are generalized. They use always, never, every time. But when you examine the evidence, you usually find exceptions, moments when that thought wasn't true. So what is your evidence? Now the second tool. Let's check that cognitive distortion. Common ones that spiritual seekers run into are catastrophizing, where you imagine the worst case scenario, mind reading, assuming you know what others are thinking, personalization, where you make everything about you, all or nothing thinking, if it's not perfect, it's a failure. Those are some examples. What distortion is your thought pattern using? And now for the third tool. And this is where spiritual awareness adds something that CBT doesn't always include. Whose thought is this originally? Because sometimes the patterns that we carry were installed by someone else. A parent's voice, a critical teacher, a cultural message. So is this yours, or was this borrowed from someone else? And finally, what is a more accurate version of this thought? And I'm not talking about positive thinking fluff. I'm talking accurate, realistic. What would a compassionate, clear-eyed friend say is actually true? You don't have to believe the new thought fully right away. You just have to be willing to try it on. So when those old patterns, thought patterns, come up, take this new thought and try it on for size. Repeat that in your mind and see how it works for you. See how it starts to direct and rewire your brain to make that your reality instead. Take a deep breath. Feel into your body, because you've just done some real work here. CBT is a practice, and it works through repetition. The more you catch that thought, examine it, and offer something more accurate, the quieter the distorted pattern becomes. Your thoughts are not your enemy. They're just outdated programs running on old hardware. And now you can update the software.